Hey, coin collectors and history buffs. Imagine finding a penny that's worth a staggering $1.7 million. Sounds impossible, right? But believe it or not, there are rare and valuable pennies out there, and one of the most coveted is the 1964 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. If you think all pennies are created equal, think again. Stick around as we dive into why this seemingly ordinary coin can be worth an extraordinary fortune. Let's start with a quick history lesson. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, it's become one of the most iconic and well-known coins in the U.S. Mint's history. By 1964, the U.S. Mint was already producing billions of pennies. In fact, this was the final year that the penny featured no mint mark on the reverse side. But here's the thing, there's something special about certain 1964 pennies. A small handful of these pennies were mistakenly struck without any mint mark at all. Now, you may be wondering, what's the big deal with a penny that doesn't have a mint mark? Well, the mint mark is a small letter that identifies where the coin was made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mint mark for Philadelphia. By 1964, the U.S. Mint had already established clear systems for marking its coins, so finding a penny with no mint mark from this year is incredibly rare. The story behind these no mint mark pennies is that during 1964, some coins were mistakenly struck at the Philadelphia Mint without the usual P or any other mint mark. This happened due to a mix-up in the production process. Only a few hundred of these special coins were made, making them an absolute treasure for collectors. The 1964 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is, on the surface, a typical Lincoln cent. It features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It's made of copper, with a weight of about 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters. Pretty standard for a penny from the 1960s. But it's the lack of a mint mark that sets this coin apart. Typically, the mint mark would appear just below the date. The absence of it creates a major error, making these pennies more valuable. These errors happen when the coin dies. The metal stamps that strike the coins don't have the mint mark engraved, leading to the distinctive no mint mark feature. It's a small mistake, but one that has had a huge impact on the value of this coin. So why is this 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth such an astronomical amount? To put it simply, rarity and demand. There's only a small number of these coins, and as time passes, they become even rarer. Coin collectors and investors are always on the lookout for unique and scarce pieces of history, and this penny checks all the boxes. In fact, a 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny in mint condition can fetch around $1.7 million at auction. And it's not just any auction, we're talking about high-profile coin auctions, where collectors who appreciate rare finds are willing to pay big bucks for a piece of history. If you're out there hunting for pennies, how can you spot a 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny? First and foremost, check for the absence of a mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, below the date. If you find a 1964 penny that's missing the mint mark, you've got a potential gold mine on your hands. However, be aware of forgeries. The market for rare coins can attract counterfeiters. So if you find a 1964 penny without a mint mark, it's important to get it professionally authenticated. This is where an expert coin appraiser comes in, and they can help you determine whether your coin is genuine and what its true value is. The market for rare Lincoln pennies has grown over the years, as collectors become more interested in historical errors and the stories behind them. Coins like the 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny are now seen as key pieces in any serious collection. They're more than just coins, they're a part of American history. If you're interested in finding and investing in rare coins, educating yourself is key. Knowing how to identify errors, understanding the significance of each year, and keeping an eye on the market can help you build a collection that could one day be worth millions. It's easy to overlook a penny in your spare change, but it's worth taking a second look at that loose change in your pockets. Sometimes, the most unassuming coins can turn out to be worth more than you could ever imagine. The 1964 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something as simple as a missing letter can result in a small fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1964 penny, make sure to check if it's missing the mint mark. You might just have a $1.7 million treasure in your hands. If you enjoyed learning about this rare find, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting tips, and comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in your collection. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare Lincoln pennies, specifically the 1980 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A coin that might be sitting in your spare change, but it could be worth thousands, or even millions, to the right collector. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this simple penny is so valuable and how to spot one in your collection. Don't miss out, let's get started. Cue intro music and graphics with the title, The 1980 No-Mint Mark Lincoln Penny, a $1 million coin? Let's go back to 1980. The United States Mint was busy producing millions of pennies that year. But here's where it gets interesting. While most 1980 Lincoln pennies have the familiar D mint mark, meaning they were made in Denver, there's a rare version of this penny that lacks any mint mark at all. That's right, the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the key era coins that collectors go crazy for. And it's this very absence of a mint mark that sets it apart from the rest. Now you might be wondering, how did this happen? Well, it all comes down to a mistake during the minting process. Normally, the mint mark is stamped on the coin as it's being struck at the mint, either in Denver, which uses the D mint mark, or Philadelphia, which is where pennies without a mint mark are produced. However, during 1980, some of the pennies struck at the Philadelphia mint didn't get their mint marks at all. This small error, one that happened in a very specific batch, is what makes these pennies so valuable today. To identify a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you'll need to pay close attention to the details. The front, or obverse, features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The inscription Liberty is clearly visible along with the year 1980. On the reverse, you'll see the traditional wheat stalks and the words E pluribus unum. The key feature to look for is the absence of any mint mark, which is usually found to the right of Lincoln's bust on most other 1980 pennies. Now, let's talk about why this era coin is so special. Errors like this are rare in coinage, and when they do pop up, they attract attention from serious collectors. The absence of a mint mark was a mistake, but it's a mistake that makes this coin incredibly desirable. Era coins, especially those with a missing mint mark, are considered a form of mintage anomaly, which makes them unique in the world of coin collecting. So, how much is a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth? The value can vary depending on its condition, but don't be surprised if you see one listed for anywhere from $500 to $10,000. Yes, you heard that right. For pennies in pristine condition, the value can climb into the thousands. A perfectly preserved coin, one that is graded MS65 or higher, could even fetch more. And while it's true that this penny doesn't always reach millions like some other rare coins, it is a prized find that could add serious value to any collection. But why is it worth so much, you ask? The answer lies in rarity and demand. Minting errors like this one are not common, and the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny was produced in a smaller batch than usual. Combine that with the growing interest in era coins, and you've got a collector's dream. This rare mistake is something collectors want to get their hands on, especially because the 1980 penny is still in circulation. With so many of the original pennies out there, it makes finding a no-mint mark version even more exciting. Looking ahead, these coins could see even greater increases in value over time, especially as more people get into numismatics and start to look for these rare finds. In the next few years, as the market for rare coins continues to grow, it's possible that the price of a 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could soar. The demand for these rare coins only increases, making it a great investment for both new and seasoned collectors. Now that you know the story behind the 1980 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, it's time to check your change jars, drawers, or old coin collections. If you find one of these era coins, you could be holding on to a small fortune. And if you've enjoyed this journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing coin finds. Who knows? The next coin we talk about could be even more valuable. 1984 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. But what if I told you that this humble little penny could be worth millions? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'll reveal the fascinating history, key features, and the rare factors that make this penny worth a serious look and a serious investment. Let's kick things off with a bit of history. The 1984 D. Lincoln penny was minted in 1984 at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D. Mint mark located just beneath the date on the coin. Now, this penny doesn't seem like it would make headlines. After all, it was produced in massive quantities, over 7 billion of them, to be exact. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1984 D. Lincoln penny is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial series, which began in 1959. The obverse, or front of the coin, features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, sculpted by Victor David Brenner. This is the same iconic design that has been featured on pennies for over 100 years. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the United States history, located in Washington, D.C. It's a coin that's both a piece of American heritage and a representation of the man who led the country through one of its toughest times. But here's where it gets interesting. While most 1984 D pennies are worth just 1 cent, there's a specific variety of this coin that's been causing quite a stir in the numismatic world. The 1984 D penny is valuable not because of its regular design, but because of error varieties that have been found. The most famous and valuable of these errors is the D/D Mint mark. This error occurred when the Denver Mint accidentally struck the D Mint mark over a previous D Mint mark. The result is a double mint mark. You can see a faint second D underneath the main one if you look closely. The D/D Mint mark makes this penny incredibly sought after by collectors. Coins like this, with minting errors, can be worth thousands of dollars, or even more, depending on the quality and clarity of the error. In some cases, flawless examples of the D/D can fetch upwards of $100,000 at auction. Now, you might be wondering, why would a simple penny, struck by a minting mistake, be worth millions? Great question. It all comes down to rarity and collector demand. While millions of regular 1984 D pennies were minted, the number of error coins, especially with the D/D mint mark, is far less. When these error coins make their way into collectors' hands, they're often hoarded or sold at auctions, where the demand drives the price up significantly. Rare mint errors like this one are highly prized by numismatists, coin collectors, because they're a piece of history, and they tell a story of a mistake that became a treasure. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare, valuable pennies? Here are a few tips. Start by checking the mint mark, located just beneath the date. If it's a D, and you see a slight double mint mark, you might have a D/D error coin. The coin's condition is crucial. Coins in pristine condition, with sharp, clear details and minimal wear, will fetch a higher price. The more flawless the penny, the higher its potential value. If you think you have a rare 1984 D penny, it's worth getting it graded by a professional service like the PCGS or NGC. This will help you determine its authenticity and condition, which are key factors in its value. Now, let's talk numbers. While a regular 1984 D penny is worth, well, 1 cent, the 1984 D/D era penny can command thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on its quality. And in near-perfect condition, we're talking MS67 or higher, this coin can go for $100,000 or more in auctions. So, whether you're new to coin collecting or you've been at it for years, the 1984 D Lincoln penny is definitely one you'll want to keep an eye out for. If you've got one of these in your collection or even in your change jar, you might be sitting on a small fortune. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the 1984 D Lincoln penny. But don't stop here. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more tips, stories, and insights into rare coins that could make you a fortune. 1986 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny. Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this penny is worth more than just its copper value, and how you might be holding on to one without even realizing it. Let's start with the basics. The 1986 No Mint Mark Lincoln Penny is a special edition of the iconic penny, and unlike most coins, it doesn't have the mint mark you would typically expect. Most pennies made in 1986 carry the D mint mark, signifying they were struck in Denver. But the no mint mark version, well, that's where the mystery begins. Cut to a visual comparison of a regular 1986 penny with a mint mark and a 1986 no mint mark penny. The absence of the mint mark means this penny wasn't made in Denver, but where exactly was it minted? Well, that's the key to its value. To understand the significance of the 1986 no mint mark penny, we need to take a quick trip back in time to the mid-1980s. The U.S. Mint had started experimenting with producing some pennies without mint marks in the early 1980s. In 1986, a handful of these no mint mark pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint instead of the usual Denver Mint. Typically, the Philadelphia Mint produced pennies without a mint mark, but by 1986, most coins came with mint marks. However, this no mint mark version slipped through the cracks, making it a rare and valuable coin today. Now, let's look at the coin itself. The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny follows the traditional design of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. These classic features are what we've come to know and love, but it's the missing mint mark that sets it apart. And here's where things get really interesting. The 1986 penny weighs 2.5 grams, just like most pennies. It's made of copper-plated zinc, and it's the standard 19 mm diameter. But remember, this small absence, the missing mint mark, makes it incredibly rare. Host speaking with excitement, highlighting the coin's value. Alright, here's the big question. Why is this seemingly ordinary penny worth millions? Well, the answer lies in rarity. The 1986 no mint mark penny is one of the rarest modern pennies out there. Unlike the regular pennies with mint marks, only a small number of these were produced by mistake. As a result, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a coin like this. Host shows a graphic of auction listings and price tags with a highlight on $1.7 million. Now, if you find one of these in your collection, hold on to it tight, because these pennies have been known to sell for up to $1.7 million, depending on their condition. That's right, a single penny could be worth millions. Host demonstrating with a magnifying glass and the penny in hand. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare 1986 no mint mark pennies? It's simple. Just take a magnifying glass and check the reverse side of the penny. Look for the absence of a mint mark. That's it. But be sure, counterfeits are out there, and you'll want to confirm authenticity before getting too excited. Host adds tips on authentication, like checking the edges and consulting a professional coin appraiser. To wrap up, the 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how small errors can make a big impact on value. While most people wouldn't think twice about a penny from 1986, collectors know just how rare and valuable this coin can be. So, if you've got one of these pennies sitting around, don't just toss it in the jar, get it checked. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing coin stories that could make you a fortune. Got a rare penny in your collection? Comment below and tell us about it. Who knows, it might just be worth millions. 1991 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. It might seem like just another penny in your pocket, but trust me, this little coin has the potential to be worth millions. So, if you've got a 1991 D in your collection, this is the video you don't want to miss. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin tips, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on a valuable coin find. Let's get into it. The 1991 D. Abraham Lincoln penny was minted by the U.S. Mint at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint is known for producing millions of pennies each year, but not all of them end up being worth a fortune. So, what makes the 1991 D so interesting? The penny was designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner. First introduced in 1909, Brenner's design of Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back, became iconic. By the time the 1991 D penny was minted, the design had been in circulation for over 80 years. But this coin, specifically, holds a unique place in the hearts of collectors due to rare errors and features that we're about to get into. The 1991 D Lincoln penny is made of 97.5% copper and 2.5% zinc, which has been the standard for U.S. pennies for decades. The coin's obverse features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the words, Liberty, and the year 1991 above it. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, with the inscriptions, E Pluribus Unum, and United States of America at the top, and 1 cent at the bottom. Finally, the mint mark, D, is located just beneath the date, indicating that this particular penny was minted in Denver. At first glance, it may seem like any other modern penny, but there are some key details that make this coin rare. Now, let's get into the good stuff, the errors and varieties that make the 1991 D penny so valuable. One of the most exciting things about rare pennies is how mint errors can make them worth far more than their face value. The 1991 D Lincoln penny has been known to exhibit several errors that collectors are eager to find. One of the most notable errors found on some of these pennies is a double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the penny is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a double image of Lincoln's face or the lettering. A coin like this can easily fetch thousands, or even more, at auction. Another error that occasionally shows up on the 1991 D penny is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the striking process, causing part of the design to be off-center. These errors are particularly rare and sought after, making them worth far more than your average penny. While the 1991 D penny may not be as famous as some other highly valuable coins, it's still one that coin collectors look for, especially when these errors appear. So, what about the value? Well, let's talk about that mint mark. The D on the 1991 penny indicates that it was minted in Denver, which is a key factor in determining its rarity. Unlike the S mint mark for San Francisco or the P for Philadelphia, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies over the years, but that doesn't mean they're all valuable. It's the condition, the errors, and the unique features that make the difference. In average condition, a 1991 D penny is worth only 1 cent. No surprises there, right? But when it comes to error coins or coins in mint condition, the value can skyrocket. A well-preserved 1991 D penny with no errors might be worth anywhere between $2 to $5. But when you're talking about a rare double die or off-center error, the value can range from thousands to millions. Some 1991 D pennies with these types of errors have been known to sell at auction for upwards of $100,000 or more, depending on the rarity and condition. If you find one of these error pennies in your collection or pocket change, you could be looking at a substantial payout. That's why it's crucial to carefully inspect your pennies, especially the 1991 D variety, for these valuable errors. So, why is the 1991 D penny worth millions? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and the presence of those valuable errors. As we've seen, while the standard penny may only be worth a cent, the special varieties and mistakes made during minting can dramatically increase their value. Rare coins with major minting errors are highly sought after by collectors and investors who understand their true worth. And as time passes, these coins only get rarer and more valuable. The key here is the double die and off-center strike errors. They're incredibly rare, making the 1991 D Lincoln penny a coin that could potentially change your life if you find one in your collection. So, there you have it, the 1991 D Lincoln penny. It may just look like a regular penny, but it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. If you think you might have a rare 1991 D penny, take a closer look and see if you can spot any of those valuable errors. Did you learn something new today? If so, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more coin tips, and comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or if you've got any questions about your own collection. I'd love to hear your stories and help you figure out which coins might be worth a fortune. 1992 D Abraham Lincoln penny. This might just be one of those pennies you've got lying around in your change jar, but if you've got the right one, it could be worth thousands, or even millions. Stick around, because we're about to uncover why this coin is so special. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on the latest tips and tricks for turning your old coins into big bucks. Now, let's get to it. Let's rewind a bit and set the stage. The 1992 Lincoln penny is a part of the United States' long-running series of 1-cent coins that first featured Abraham Lincoln back in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Fast forward to the 1990s, and the U.S. Mint continued producing these pennies, but one particular batch of 1992 pennies had a small twist that made them much more valuable than the rest. The 1992 penny is made of copper-plated zinc and has a diameter of 19 millimeters, just like the standard Lincoln cent. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. It's the same design we've seen for decades, but that's not what makes this penny stand out. The reverse side of the coin, which shows the Lincoln Memorial, has an interesting detail that became a source of fascination for collectors. While the design itself wasn't anything new, it's the mint mark that plays a crucial role here. Here's where things get exciting. You'll notice a mint mark, D, on the 1992 penny. This means it was produced at the Denver Mint, which is known for minting billions of coins every year. But the rarity of this coin lies not in its design, but in a unique error that happened during the production process. In fact, some of the 1992 pennies were struck with a very interesting and rare feature, a double die error on the obverse. This means the coin was struck twice, causing the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust, to appear double imprinted on the coin. So, what does this double die error mean for the value of the 1992 penny? Well, depending on the degree of the error, some of these pennies have been sold for upwards of thousands of dollars, and if you find a truly pristine example in the right grade, it could be worth millions. Now, don't get too excited just yet. Finding one of these rarities in circulation is incredibly difficult. The error isn't extremely widespread, and only a small fraction of the 1992 pennies were struck with this double die feature. The true value comes from collectors who want that perfect piece of history to add to their collections. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these rare double die pennies in my collection? Well, it's all about paying attention to the details. Look closely at the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you see a noticeable doubling, where the letters seem to be overlapping or have a shadow effect, you've got a double die error on your hands. It might be subtle, but with a magnifying glass or good lighting, you'll be able to spot it. Okay, so how much is this coin worth? If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare 1992 double die pennies, the value can vary based on the coin's condition. In lower grades, the value might be a few $100s, but as the grade increases, especially if it's in mint state or proof condition, the value can skyrocket. In fact, some of the best examples of the 1992 double die penny have been known to sell for as much as $10,000, and even more for the highest graded specimens. If you happen to come across one in the MS-67 grade or higher, you could be looking at a coin worth upwards of $30,000 to $50,000. And if you happen to find one of these pennies at an auction with high demand, it's not impossible that the price could soar even further. Some collectors are willing to pay nearly any price for such a rare coin to complete their collections. So, why is the 1992 double die penny worth millions? It all boils down to rarity, historical significance, and condition. Only a few of these error coins were made, and the chance of finding one in excellent condition is rare. Add in the fact that collectors love to hunt for rare errors, and you've got the perfect storm for a highly valuable coin. Coins with double die errors are especially prized because they represent mistakes in the minting process, mistakes that just don't happen very often. And when one of those mistakes is on a coin as widely circulated as the 1992 Lincoln penny, it becomes a real gem in the eyes of collectors. So, there you have it, the 1992 Abraham Lincoln penny. It may look like just another penny to most people, but in the right condition and with the right error, it could be worth a small fortune. If you've got one of these in your collection, or you find one in your change, take a good look, because it could be the treasure you've been searching for. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or coin. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. 1995 D. Lincoln Penny. We'll uncover its history, key features, mint marks, and why it can fetch a hefty price on the market. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is much more than a mere piece of change. First, let's take a step back and look at the coin's roots. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, and it's been a staple of American currency ever since. Its design, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, was a tribute to the 16th president, who played such a vital role in shaping the United States. Fast forward to 1995, and we find the Lincoln penny still going strong. The 1995 D Mint mark refers to a penny struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint is one of the U.S. Mint's most well-known facilities, and it produces millions of coins each year. But there's something special about this penny that collectors are eager to find. Let's talk about the details. The obverse of the 1995 D Lincoln penny features the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, with his name inscribed along the rim. The reverse displays the classic design of the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to Lincoln's legacy, with the words E pluribus unum above it. And of course, you'll notice the D Mint mark, which signifies it was minted in Denver. This mint mark is crucial in determining the coin's origin and potential rarity. Now, let's talk about the real kicker: errors. The 1995 D penny is especially noteworthy because of a certain flaw that makes it stand out in the world of rare coins. One of the most famous errors associated with this coin is the doubled die obverse, a misstriking error that causes parts of Lincoln's image to appear doubled. This error happens when the coin is struck twice in the same spot, creating a noticeable double impression. As you can see, the doubling is most noticeable on Lincoln's eyebrow, and the word Liberty. If you're lucky enough to find one of these error coins, hold on to it, because it can significantly boost the coin's value. So, how much could your 1995 D Lincoln penny be worth? Well, that depends on its condition. A regular, well-worn 1995 D penny may only be worth its face value of 1 cent, but if it's in excellent condition, it could fetch a few dollars. However, if you've got one of the rare double die error pennies, you're looking at a potential value of $500 to $1,000, or even more, depending on its quality. Some of these error coins have even been sold for over $2,000 at auctions. That's a pretty impressive jump from a simple penny. So, it's definitely worth checking through your spare change to see if you have one of these rare gems. But why is this penny worth so much? The truth is, it's all about rarity. The 1995 D double die obverse penny is considered a mistake, and in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are often worth more than perfect coins. Collectors hunt for these errors because they add uniqueness to their collection. The more unusual or rare the mistake, the higher the value. Plus, with each year that passes, more of these coins are lost or damaged, making those that survive in pristine condition even more valuable. Before you rush to check your piggy bank or coin jar, remember, finding one of these rare 1995 D double die error pennies isn't easy. But if you do find one, it could be the discovery of a lifetime. So, keep your eyes peeled and check your pennies carefully. And if you want to learn more about rare coins, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment below telling us about any rare coins you've found. Who knows, your next coin could be worth a small fortune. 2006 that has become a rare gem in the world of numismatics, and it's worth millions of dollars. If you have a 2006 D Lincoln penny lying around, this video could change everything for you. Stick around to find out why. To understand why the 2006 D Lincoln penny is so valuable, let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln penny, first minted in 1909, has gone through several changes over the years. By 2006, we were in the midst of the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, a significant milestone. In 2006, the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate this centennial by introducing a new design that would include the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side of the coin. But the 2060 coin stands out not just because of its design, but because of a unique feature that we'll get into shortly. As always, this penny was struck at the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark. However, not every 2060 penny is valuable. There's a specific error in some of them that makes them truly exceptional. Let's talk about the features of the 2060 Lincoln penny. On the obverse side, you'll see the classic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has remained unchanged since 1909. On the reverse side, you've got the Lincoln Memorial, the centerpiece of the penny since 1959. But what makes the 2060 so special? Well, apart from being part of a major anniversary, the coin carries a distinctive feature in the minting process. While most of these coins are just your typical copper-plated zinc pennies, some rare errors slip through the cracks in the production process. Keep an eye out for these. Here's where things get interesting. A very specific error in the 2060 penny can dramatically increase its value. Some coins were struck with a double die obverse. This means that the image of Lincoln and the surrounding elements are slightly shifted or doubled on the coin, giving it a unique, ghosted look. These double die errors are extremely rare and are one of the most sought-after types of mistakes for collectors. It's important to note that these errors don't just happen every year, which is why they're so valuable when they do. The double die obverse error in the 2060 penny has been spotted in only a handful of coins, making it highly desirable to coin collectors who are always on the lookout for these kinds of rare finds. So, how much can you expect to get for one of these 2060 pennies with a double die error? Well, it's not uncommon for error coins to fetch anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 at auction, depending on the severity and clarity of the doubling. But hold on to your hats. Some particularly well-preserved examples of the 2060 double die penny have been known to sell for over $200,000, and in rare cases, even more. Now, if you have one of these in your pocket or your coin collection, you might want to take a closer look. Even a minor double die error could be worth thousands, and a major one could mean a windfall for you. Let's break down how you can spot a 2060 Lincoln penny with a double die error. First, look closely at the details of Lincoln's head, the date, and the words "In God We Trust." The doubling usually occurs in these areas, and you'll notice a faint shadow or second image alongside the original. Using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe can help you spot this with precision. Take your time to carefully inspect the penny. Don't forget to check the edges, as sometimes the doubling can appear there as well. And there you have it. The 2060 Lincoln penny with a double die error is a rare and valuable coin, capable of turning a seemingly ordinary piece of change into a small fortune. If you think you've got one of these rare treasures, don't let it slip through your fingers. Make sure to get it professionally evaluated, and you might just have a coin worth more than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed learning about this rare penny and want to discover even more coin treasures, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And hey, if you found a rare penny or any valuable coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. 2014 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that might be sitting in your pocket, just waiting to make you a millionaire. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick around because today, we're diving deep into this rare and valuable coin, exploring its history, features, errors, and why it could be worth millions. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Over the years, these pennies have gone through several design changes. But what makes the 2014 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? In 2014, the United States Mint released pennies with an interesting twist. While most coins from that year carry a mint mark, indicating which mint they were produced at, like D4 Denver or P4 Philadelphia, the 2014 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is missing that crucial letter. It wasn't intentional, but that small error has caused quite a stir in the world of coin collecting. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin so unique. Typically, coins from the US Mint will have either a D4 Denver or a P4 Philadelphia on the obverse, that's the head side, to show where it was struck. But in 2014, some pennies were produced without any mint mark. This missing mint mark is not something you see every day, and it's the key feature that makes these coins stand out. The absence of the mint mark is considered a mistake by some, and others see it as a rare and valuable misprint. Either way, it's not something you'll find on just any penny. This error was not common, and for collectors, it's the rarity that increases the value of this coin. So why does this mint mark error make the coin worth so much? Well, minting errors like this are rare occurrences in the production process. The US Mint typically has strict quality control, but mistakes happen. When something unusual like a missing mint mark slips through the cracks, collectors take notice. And this missing mint mark is especially significant because it's a sign that the coin wasn't made as intended. It's an anomaly, something that wasn't supposed to happen. This is where the value starts to build. Errors like this aren't just fun to collect, they're also worth more because they're unique and scarce. Rare coins tend to appreciate in value over time as their availability becomes limited. Okay, let's get to the good part, the value. So how much is this coin actually worth? Well, in 2014, this penny might have been worth just 1 cent. But today, the 2014 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is valued at around $1,500 or even more, depending on its condition. Here's the thing, coins like this are often graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your 2014 penny is in excellent condition, it could fetch even more at auction. Some have even seen higher bids, especially for well-preserved specimens in mint condition. Now, I know what you're thinking. I have a bunch of these pennies in my jar. Are they worth something? Well, that's where the key to this treasure hunt lies. Condition matters. If you come across a 2014 penny without a mint mark, you'll want to check its condition carefully. Coins that are slightly worn will still hold some value, but pristine, uncirculated coins can be worth much more. So how do you spot a 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in your collection? It's pretty simple. Just grab a magnifying glass and check the obverse side of the coin. Look carefully at the area just below Abraham Lincoln's shoulder, where the mint mark would usually appear. If you don't see a P or a D, congratulations, you've found a rarity. Keep in mind, though, that not all missing mint marks are valuable. Some might just be worn away due to circulation, but if it's clearly missing from a 2014 penny, you could have a hidden gem on your hands. Now you might be wondering, is this penny going to be worth millions someday? While we can't predict the future, it's worth noting that the value of rare coins often increases over time as they become even harder to find. If the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny continues to stay scarce and demand grows among collectors, there's a chance that this coin could reach even higher prices in the future. Just look at other famous misprints from history, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double-dyed penny. Over the years, these coins have become incredibly valuable, with some selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could follow a similar path. So, do you think you have a hidden treasure on your hands? Remember, the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might be a rare find, but the key is in how well it's preserved. If you're lucky enough to own one, you could be holding on to a valuable piece of history.